Welcome to this edition of Buncombe Life. Man, are you in for a treat today. As you can see, I've got on my BC Fit shirt today because Buncombe County employees, starting in 2014, are getting fit, called Buncombe Wellness. We're all trying to get up off the couch, get out from behind our desks, and get fit in all kinds of ways. And we are out here at beautiful French Broad River Park. As you can see, there's a little bit of snow on the ground. It's a chilly afternoon, but you're in for a treat because I'm going to be here with Danny Dreyer in just a few minutes. He's going to join me. He is the man behind She Running and She Walking. If you don't know what that is, you need to find out about it. You know, here in Asheville, Buncombe County, we are a running community. There's so many people trying to get fit, and running and walking is a big part of that. I started that about 2 years ago at the age of 50, which a lot of people think is too old to get out there for run the first time. I couldn't even run for a minute, so I added on. Then people kept saying, you're going to get hurt. Well, I had somebody tell me about She Running. I took a class, and I really do believe it's made all the difference. I love to run, and I've been fairly successful at it. And it has lowered my cholesterol by a lot of points and made me feel a lot better. And I attribute a lot of my success to She Running. So stay tuned and hear what Danny's got to tell us. I think you'll be very encouraged. Okay, I'm here with Danny Dreyer, who is She Running. We're going to come back to that, so hold right there. First, I want to find out a little bit about you. Thank you for talking to us today. I want to know, first, before we talk about She Running, She Walking, and give the folks at home lots of tips, I want to know about you. How did you get into this? How did you start this?
Yeah.
And how big is it?
It's pretty big,
It is.
which we'll get to. But,
It is.
you know, how I got into this was I was a runner for many, many years. I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, so I've always lived in the mountains. You know? And then I started doing ultra running, which is ultra marathons, any distance longer than a marathon.
Yeah, let's tell the folks at home, because I know, Asheville is a running city. There's a lot of runners watching. But for people who aren't runners, they think, 2 miles is a long way.
Yeah.
A 5K is 3, a 10K is 6, a marathon's 26.1.
Yeah.
Ultra running is beyond.
Any distance beyond 26.2 miles, the marathon distance, is an ultra. And so I've run every distance up to 100 miles.
Oh my gosh, all at one time?
All at one time.
That's like saying we're open 24 hours,
well, I had
all
to
at one time.
I stopped a couple times, and but it's I've done that twice, and quite an adventure.
But how did you get into that? I mean, you like to run, but...
Yeah, I like to run, and it's interesting. I wanted to challenge myself, and so I didn't really start competitive running until I was 45 years old.
Really?
Really,
I
never
feel so
raced.
much better.
I never raced when I was young. In fact, last year with my daughter, I ran my first 5K race.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never done one before.
So you just ran to run?
I just ran to run. Yeah, and so my first race was 50 miles. The first race I ever did in my life was 50 miles.
Oh my gosh.
But I trained for a long time for it, so I don't want to freak
Right.
people out that they keep, that's like, this is a nutcase you're talking to. Well, you are. But
No.
I was always, once I started getting into the longer mileage, I realized that I really needed to get much more efficient with my running. Because, gosh, you don't want to run out of fuel or hurt yourself.
Right.
And those are the two biggest things. You want to be energy efficient, but you want to prevent injury at the same time. So those two things I was always trying to study, really. I'm just a curious person. And so I studied those a lot while I was learning this ultra running, and that's what got me to run farther and farther with less effort and all of that.
Right.
And then I started taking Tai Chi classes in like 1997 or 98. And from my very first class, my Tai Chi instructor was showing us about how Tai Chi as a martial art can be translated into other forms of movement, not just as a martial art. So Tai Chi, why I like it and why I blended it into my running is that it is all about moving from your center instead of your periphery.
Right.
Okay. And that's where your strength is, that's where your largest muscles are and everything. So I started working what I was learning from my Tai Chi into my running, and my world totally changed. You know, it was, all of a sudden I wasn't using my legs for propulsion any longer. I was using my center, which is much stronger and lasts longer. So then my ultra distances started my times were coming down. I was winning races. I was, having a much easier time doing very long miles. So I thought at one point, well, everybody ought to know this.
Yeah.
You know, and so I started teaching classes. And, when I first started in 1999, it was hard to convince people that they needed to learn how to run. That was a while back, and it just wasn't even thought of. Of course I run. I've been running my whole life. What are you going to teach me? Right? Kind of thing. But, we don't run the same as we did when we were kids.
No.
By any stretch. And, you have a lot of, body issues and things that happen through life, or you sit at a desk for 20 years or like whatever, and it changes how you move your body. So what I'm trying to do is through this internal movement focus, mixing that with running and walking, trying to get people more active in an easier way so they don't hurt themselves. That's really my bottom line goal.
So that's what started Chi running.
That's what started Chi running, right there. That's why I call it Chi running. It's part Tai Chi and part running. Right. But you don't need to know Tai Chi to learn this. I'm just bringing these cool principles into running and walking that really help people enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. We have over 200 instructors worldwide now. Right. So they teach worldwide, and every now and then I get to travel and go out there and teach them. Yeah. So it's going to be a good summer, and spring.
What we want you to do for us today, so we don't want to take up too much of your time, is show us the principles that can help the folks at home, whether they're on the couch or they're running like you were. They've been running for years, but every once in a while their knee hurts, their back hurts, they throw something out and they go, I just can't run anymore. Oh yeah. I've heard that so many times, and they'll say, you're going to hurt yourself. You're over 50, you shouldn't be running. I've also heard that. And I said, hey, 2 years, no injuries, I'm good. Yeah. Yes. So what are the principles? But let's start with Chi walking. Okay. Yeah, because if you're not doing anything, you should probably start with walking. Yeah, you should definitely start with walking, and I'll show you something right off the bat that will help you improve your walking. So how most people walk is with their legs. They're just marching along, walking with their legs. If you were to watch me walk how a normal person walks, and then I switch and walk what Chi walking looks like. If you've ever seen race walkers, like in the Olympics, or it looks a little bit more like that, except race walkers have this weird kind of waddle, strange thing, nah, couldn't go that way. So what it does, the biggest difference in really learning how to walk correctly and how to make it safer on your body and how to make it so that it's actually a fitness thing, not just moving your body around, but fitness, is to engage your core muscles. And a lot of people don't know how to do that when they're running or when they're walking. In fact, a lot of people don't know how to do it when they're sitting in a chair, so so the best part is to learn how to engage your core when you're walking. And it's really simple. I'll give you an example. So if you just stand right here, and if you stand how a lot of people stand. Now you've got really good posture, but if I were to pull down on your shoulders, you can see which direction your hips want to move. In a forward direction. They do. You see that? Yeah. Okay. So what that tells me in most people and 90% of all people do that. When I pull down on their shoulders, their hips go forward. That means there's no core engagement. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Okay. All I want you to do is feel your ground solid, feel your feet solid on the ground. And all I want you to do is put one hand on your belly
and put one finger right on your sternum. And I
Okay.
want you to push your belly back a little while you bring your sternum just a tiny bit forward. Okay, now drop your hands. Now, can you feel these muscles engaged to hold you there?
I can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if you're holding yourself there now, I can do pull-ups on your shoulders
Yeah.
and you don't
No, I
budge.
didn't even feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you do feel is this.
Yes.
So what I could tell the people watching is that you can practice this in your office.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is sit in your chair and then lean back in the back of your chair. And then when you sit up again, feel these muscles working as
Yeah.
you sit up,
Yeah.
right? So if you sit up, there you go. It's
Yeah.
like sitting forward in
Yeah.
your chair. When you feel these muscles working, just remember to keep that feeling there.
Yeah.
So if you keep this feeling there when you walk, it makes you walk totally differently. I mean, that's just one tiny thing you can do, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're a totally different walker.
That's
and I'll
right.
show you. You just walk like a stroll.
Okay.
Let's just walk along just like we're doing a stroll.
Okay.
Okay, so right now we're walking like how most people walk. See how I'm kind of throwing my foot out in front of me and my
Yes,
front leg
how
is
I do it.
straightening. You know, this is how most people walk, right? And their hips are going first. Okay? Now, I call this exercise sitting up in your chair,
Remember this.
for lack of a better name. Okay? So I want you just to sit up in your chair. So you're going to feel your hips go back a little and your upper body come a little forward. Okay, so now feel these. This is the only thing I want you to really feel the most. But every step you want to feel this engaged.
Okay.
Just a slight little tension there,
Okay.
right? So hold that tension, bend your elbows to like a 90 degree, and then while you're feeling this tension, just walk. Don't even think about it, just walk, but hold this tension. Feels pretty different.
It does feel very different.
What sitting forward does is that it makes you go faster.
Yeah.
It shortens your stride,
Yeah.
and that is easier on your body. Okay, so your cadence picks up. Your stride rate goes a little bit faster, which is a good thing. It's like a lower gear in a car,
Yeah.
right? And so your stride is shorter, so there's less impact per stride.
Yeah.
You're not coming down quite so hard. So it moves you along the ground rather than bouncing you along the ground or hitting hard or having
Yes.
to push off hard. And you go faster because your center of mass is shifted just a little bit forward.
It feels just a little odd though, and I think that's
Oh,
how
yeah.
you can almost tell that's where you got it right, because you're just a little,
When you-
instead of like you say,
Yeah.
putting on the brakes when you walk, you're a little forward.
So if we go back to walking how we walked before, every time you take a step, you're swinging that leg out in front of
Yeah.
you and you're hitting with your heel.
Yep.
That's putting the brakes on. That's like going,
Yeah.
you know, with every step.
Yeah.
So when you sit up in your chair, you'll notice that you don't hit on the back of your heel.
Right.
You shorten your stride, so you're hitting more on the front of your heel. Let's try this. Okay, so sit up in your chair, feel your
Yeah.
sternum go just right over your hips. Okay, now hold this tension, bend your arms. Good. Now keep this, and now feel where you're hitting your feet. Shorter stride, no hard heel stride.
Well, and it's more
much
on
easier
your
leg.
arch than
Yeah.
on your heel. That's weird.
It's
And-
weird.
And I don't know if
It's
you
so
can.
simple. It's just one
It's
thing.
so simple.
That's all you got to do.
And I don't know if the people at home can see it or not, but to feel it, it's amazing how much faster you go, how much easier it is to move
Yeah.
with that one simple
Yeah.
little thing.
One simple thing. And then there's all kinds of things you can add on to that. But for this one thing, you just want to watch, make sure your posture is nice and
Right.
tall, you know. So I'm really, the crown of my head, I'm always trying to reach up through the crown of my head, like they tell you in the yoga class, you know, like
Yeah,
you got a
you
piece
pull
of
your
string,
string,
hold, you
yeah.
pull your string up,
Yeah.
So the three things, it's like always be pulling your string up, sit up in your chair, and bend your arms.
Yeah.
So if I'm reaching up through the top of my head, feeling this tension right in my belly,
Yeah.
and bending my arms, everything's good. Running is a little different. One thing I will say is if you want to walk faster, swing your arms faster.
Your arms faster. Okay.
Whatever your arms do, your legs are going to follow. So if you want to walk really fast, swing your arms really fast. You know, and then your legs will just do it, you know. When you want to go into running, what I would do is I would suggest to people who are just starting the walking or just getting off the couch, really get out and walk to where you can hold a good 30-minute walk this way.
Right.
Imagine how strong your core will be if 30 minutes of holding that.
That's right.
You know, that's better than any gym.
That's
you know?
exactly right.
It's like doing a crunch for 30 minutes.
It is, and I think that's one. I remember from taking Chi running. I remember that one piece. I think I forgot that piece.
Yeah.
That's going to help me. I'm so glad I'm here today.
Good.
That's going to help. I think so. I remember sit up in your chair. I remember the stand up straight, sit up in your chair. But I forgot to hold that. That really will propel you. And every once in a while I get the hip swing.
Yeah.
And then I lose it. And boy, when you can get it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's why I said, you know, there's a lot more to add on to this, because then there's certain ways to swing your arms, you get more power. There's certain ways to swing your hips, ways to rotate your hips.
Yes.
You know, how to really work hills, everything, you know.
Yes.
So we have all kinds of learning materials for that. That's what the classes are for. People can come to those and just get the whole picture then.
Absolutely.
Or go on our website and get the materials for it.
Yeah.
So if you want to go into running is a little different than walking in the fact that you leave the ground.
Right.
That's the definition.
That's right.
You know, if you're a race walker and you ever leave the ground, you're disqualified.
Because you're running.
Because you're running. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's how you get DQ'd from a walking race. Okay, so runners leave the ground. The other thing about runners is that because they leave the ground, there's a lot more chance for pushing off.
Yes.
And a lot more chance for impact coming back down.
Stop. Yeah.
So what you want to do, where most running injuries come from, are from here down. The knees, the shins, shin splints, calf pulls, Achilles tendon pulls, plantar fasciitis.
Oh, we hear that a lot around here.
Yes. And so, because it's so hilly.
That's right.
So most of the running injuries come from the knee on down. Right. Well, the thing that's interesting about running is that you really don't want to be using the smaller muscles, tiny little muscles in your leg, to be doing something as large as pushing your body down the road,
That's right?
That's right. Like inefficient. It's using a little tiny engine to haul a big car. So that's why, again, we're using the core to be able to drive the next largest muscle and the next largest muscle and the tiny muscles.
Right.
So really your distal muscles, the one further away from your center, are the ones you want to use the least if you're set up according to Tai Chi.
Right.
You know? And that's how they work, and that's kind of what I've been trying to bring into running all these years. Okay, so what you use your core for is not to power your legs.
Okay.
Let's erase that from your mind right away. It's not to power your legs, it's to hold your balance in a nice little forward fall.
Yeah. Forward
so
fall.
if you can, yes, it's a forward fall. A lot of people run upright. Okay, so if you run upright, you have to push yourself because gravity is pulling straight down on your body.
That's right.
And unless, I mean, I'm standing straight up now. If I don't push myself, I'm not going to go anywhere.
Right.
But if I let myself fall, if I tip over, if I just relax my lower legs and start to fall, I will move without pushing myself that way. So I'm like, it's a controlled fall. So what you use your core for is to balance yourself in this nice little forward fall.
Right.
It's a light little fall. We've all done it. I'm not teaching somebody something that they've never done before.
That's right.
Because you can watch any little kid, you know, when they walk and run. There's a little kid over there, and he just learned to walk. And if you watch her walk, he's like staggering forward. He's catching his balance the whole way.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what we all did. But as you get to be an adult, you start going, that's a long way to the ground.
Right.
Thanks.
I'm not going there.
No, I'm not going there. Yeah, and so you start running upright out of safety.
Right.
Well, what I'm trying to do is to get people back into that mode of just feeling this gentle little fall and then keep your balance in this little kind of window of balance.
Yeah. So how do you start that?
Okay, so how you start that is, again, work with your posture.
Right.
Always start with just really tall posture. There's 3 easy steps.
Yeah.
Feel your posture. Feel your feet down at the bottom of this posture column. And then just feel your center fall slightly in front of your feet. And then just let it keep falling, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the trick to that is, the last little element that I'll give, I don't want to give it all away.
You can't give it all away.
Okay, let's just pick up your feet.
Okay.
You don't have to push yourself from here to the other end of the road.
Right.
You just fall there and pick up your feet to keep up with your fall.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can get that concept in your head, it's pretty easy. So I want you to just pick your feet up. Okay, and you can even run in place by picking your feet up. Up, 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 up. Okay, so now while you're running in place, just feel your posture be nice and tall.
Yeah.
Okay, and then feel your feet down at the bottom of this posture.
Yeah.
And then let your center fall just a little bit in front of your feet while you're picking your feet up. Just pick your feet up, let your center fall.
So simple. What you just showed right there is what has kept me injury-free for 2 years.
Yeah.
Every time I begin to run, that's exactly how I start. I say, I need to fall into my run.
Yeah.
And that's just a very easy start, and it has just made it so simple. But there's a ton more. The class that I took, there's a ton more.
Lots more.
That has added to that one simple little step.
That's just the real basic structure of it. Yeah.
But just really shows the folks at home how easy running can be. How healthy. I mean, I have lowered my cholesterol from 256 to 159.
Oh my gosh.
That's
great.
I have. I'm on no medicine.
Yeah.
It has just, and that's I hate to say it, it's the only exercise I do because I love it. I really enjoy it. Didn't start till I was 50. It's been great, and I attribute a lot of my success, most of it, to chi running and the principles that you taught the whole class. So what we want the folks at home to know is it's easy, they can do it.
Oh yeah.
And you have a great app.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and that's a whole
that's a really cool
story.
thing. Yeah, we have an app. The Chi Running app is you can upload it to your smartphone or your iPhone, and we have Android and iPhone versions. But the app really, there's with Chi Running now, there's all these little internal mental focuses that you're doing there. I call them mind-body focuses because your mind is working, but it's directing your body to do a certain thing. Just like bend your arms. There's a focus. My mind is telling my arms to bend. Okay.
And to
swing. And then my feet coming up off the ground. My mind is telling me to pick up my feet. Don't push off with my feet. So the app is loaded with all of these focuses, and you can plug them in. Listen to them, and so I'm talking in your ear. And
it's great.
Okay, now pick up your feet. Okay, now swing your arms. Okay, now feel your core. All those little focuses while you're running, so you can. The beauty of it is not only do you get a workout, but we call it a practice instead of a sport now.
Right.
Because you're actually practicing to improve yourself with every time you go out, and that's the one thing that I would really like to introduce into people's walking and their running, to where you don't just go out and do the same thing forever. You actually get to where you can master it. You can do incredible things with it. You can learn from it. There's so many things.
You can enjoy it.
Oh, and the better you get at anything, the more it just becomes a flow.
That's
you know? And that's what we're all headed for. That's what we would like.
That's right.
And some people look at running like it's this pretty scary, a lot of work thing. But you can get to the point where we had our training group just last Sunday over, we ran around North Asheville. We're training for the Asheville Biltmore Marathon that's coming up in March. And we had a group of people, and they all did 19 miles. And at the end, they were all like, okay, that's done. And one of the guys is training for the half marathon. And when we got to 13 miles, I told him, I said, hey, you just ran a half marathon. And he goes, whoa, that's cool. And then some people think of running a half marathon like, oh my God, when I finish, I'm going to be like dead. And he goes, oh, that's cool. I got a couple miles to get back to my car. That sounds good. And he was like, it was like no big deal.
See, that's where you want to be, because then it becomes enjoyment.
Yes.
It's not just to get healthy. It's not just, you're actually enjoying it and getting healthy at the same time, which is a win-win.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And, you know, we have lots of, the thing we're trying to do is just really educate people as much as possible and as many people as possible. So we have a Facebook page that's chirunning.com Facebook, and then our website is chirunning.com, or you can go to chiwalking.com.
Right.
So it's a really great program at any level. We have elite runners. I have one of our instructors runs a 15-minute 5K. You know,
Oh
so
my
we have
gosh.
a whole range of people, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's neat. It's really good.
Nice.
We had one of our instructors, you know, runs a 20-hour 100-miler. That's like pretty decent time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's just a whole range, and it's really any age.
Any age.
Any
Oldest
age.
student I've ever had, I believe, was 89 years old. And the youngest one
Yes.
was my daughter.
Yes.
That started learning when she was like tiny.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, people start walking and running at very late ages. You know, so
It's
you know,
never too late.
oh, never too late. If you got 2 legs, you're good.
You can do it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with starting with walking.
Yeah.
I just want the folks at home to know you can start walking,
Yeah.
and then you can stay walking. Walking is a great thing too, but
Yeah,
you
the,
can move right
the
into
beautiful thing about walking is that there's a lot of people that want to do walking to manage their weight. Okay, so if somebody is on the couch and they're really having a hard time getting up and fit, and it seems like huge, you know, you start by walking. You felt how easy it is.
It's very
if you
easy.
can just move and then gradually get yourself to where you're going a little farther and a little farther. You don't ever have to go faster.
No,
just go farther. And the farther you go, the more, not only the more calories you burn, but the more fat you burn.
Yeah.
Which that's what everybody's at. It's not just burning calories, it's burning fat calories,
Yeah.
which really takes it out of your body. And that's what the walking is really good for, because it's not hard on your body, but if you can do it longer, you can crank through
Yeah.
body fat.
So you heard it. You heard it here. You can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you heard what he said. You can do it. Take it from him, take it from me. Get out there, get going. Join us here in Buncombe County as we begin Buncombe Wellness, and we encourage you to do the same thing. You will feel better. Just get moving. Chi Running is actually based, it's an international company, but it's actually based here in Asheville. I want to do a special shout out, thank you to them for helping us put this together and giving us those tips. You can find more tips on our Facebook site at Buncombe Gov, more tips on our website, buncombecounty.org. And as we go throughout this year, we will be doing lots more with wellness. So stay tuned. And as always, tune in next month here on Buncombe Life.